In this lecture, we are going to learn about two Angular services, timeout and interval. We will see what's the difference between this timeout and interval. I have created an Angular app 23, and it's having table with ngRepeat, and in the script file I have an object array. First, we will use timeout and see how timeout is work. For that, we need to import that timeout, and we will put this object array into a function called scope dot. I'll create a new function called load timeout, and using a timeout I'm going to call this function. In the timeout bracket, we need to first call to the function which function you want to timeout. Scope dot load timeout, and after that you need to give the how many milliseconds you want to time out this function. We'll say I'll give 5000 milliseconds to time out this function. Now my expectation is when this application runs, this table ngRepeat, this object array loads after 5000 milliseconds, that means 5 seconds. Okay, we will run this application and see. Yes, uploads, and we will wait 5 seconds and see. Yes, you can see after 5 seconds the data is loaded. I think you understood what timeout is doing, and we will wait few seconds and see is there any changes or anything happens after another 5 seconds. No, there's no any changes happen after this time out, and that means timeout is one time call. It calls after 5000 milliseconds to this function, and I think you understood about the process. Timeout calls to the function after the given milliseconds, right? Then we will see about the interval. First I need to import the interval, and in the interval we will load some objects into this array. I'll write a new function that is scope, and I'll write load interval. After some interval I am going to load function to load objects to this object array. I'll use scope dot object array dot. I'm going to push some data, push some array into this object array. I'm going to push, I'll copy one array object, and I'm going to push that again and again with this interval function. And after that I need to call this function using interval. First I need to give the function name, scope dot load interval, and after that I need to give after how many seconds this function need to run. I'll give 5000 milliseconds, and I'll change this timeout to 2500 milliseconds and we'll run the application and see what's happening. Yes, application loads. Yes, after 2500 milliseconds that object array loads, and after 5000 milliseconds you can see that continuously this push is happening. And yes, now I think you understood about what interval is does. Within that this interval period it calls to the function again and again. You saw the different. We will run this one again and see. I'll increase the time like this one to 5000 and this one to 10,000 and see. Application loads, and after 5000 milliseconds, yes, this object loads, and yes, after 10,000 milliseconds this push is happen, and we will see. Yes, another push is happen. We will see. Yes, after another 10,000 milliseconds, that means 10 seconds, another push is happen. Now I think you clearly understood about what's the difference between timeout and the interval.